Drama at the start of the evening session here on the final day of action at the European Darts Open. Michael van Gerwen surviving a match dart against Gerwyn Price. Should have had a couple of match darts at the end, the Iceman, and could have brought an end to a horrible run against Michael van Gerwen. But it is now 15 consecutive defeats at the hands of the world #1, who's moved into the semi-finals and will take on the winner of this match between James Wade and Mensah Suljovic, who, like Price and van Gerwen, met just 10 nights ago in the Premier League. On that occasion, James Wade won 7-3 and did something to remedy a losing record against Suljovic, which I was quite surprised to find. But Mensah has beaten the machine 9 times from their 14 meetings. Does that surprise you, Mervyn King?
It does, actually. I thought that might have been a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I mean, James is a fantastic player. Oh, so is Mensah, obviously. But it does seem a little bit on the one-sided affair.
Well, there aren't many players that have winning records against James Wade. And if you take a look at the players who've played more than 5 times against the machine, only Gary Anderson, Michael van Gerwen and Phil Taylor have better records than Mensah Suljovic against James Wade. So it's quite an exclusive club.
It certainly is with those names.
Seeds 4 and 5, so of course seeded to meet at this stage. If it goes with the seedings, then James Wade would be expected to win. But the information that I've just revealed could suggest that Suljovic is expected to win. However, Wade of the last 6 months or so is almost Wade of the kind that we came to know and love for the last decade. 10 years, of course, Mervyn, since he won the Premier League. You remember that one?
You'll have to remind me. Yes, I remember.
I thought you might. But yeah, he's picked up 9 titles on the telly, including 2 at the back end of last year, and it's like the machine is motoring again after a little bit of a dip.
He seems to have found some rejuvenated form of yesteryear. I mean, we're not going back that many years, I suppose. But then again, 10 years is 10 years. It suggests that James Wade is an older player when you say it like that, but he just isn't, is he? He's still one of the young guns.
Yeah,
unlike myself.
Well, you're only as old as you feel, Mervyn.
If I was old as my mental age, then I'd be about 12.
Well, James Wade has been around a long time, much like Adrian Lewis, but still in early to mid-30s, and who knows, the best darts could be ahead of them.
This is true. Well, he does seem to have made the better start to this quarter-final.
123.
Has probably made the better start to the season of the pair as well, but that's partly because we haven't actually seen much of Mensah Suljovic. He doesn't tend to attend all the events. He's got a young family and makes that his priority. That's fair enough.
That's better darts.
137. January 190.
So we look at a 2-dart finish for James. The first blood hits the treble 20, leaves double 15, just outside. Moves across to widen the angle and finds it. Takes 90 in 3, take a 1-0 lead.
Yep.
So we have a break to start.
Well crafted check out from James Wade. He didn't make it easy for himself. That's one of the things in this game, that you can throw a good dart but then block the target. But Wade just took a step to the left, used his nous.
Over the years, I've come to the conclusion that James Wade knows something about this game the rest of us don't. He seems to find a way of winning a lackluster game, or if he's made a mess of a shot, he still seems to find a way of taking that out.
Yeah, and you've met him many times in big matches and often been on the receiving end when James Wade has pulled out those
true.
big finishes, those
Mind you, I've had my fair share as well.
Yeah, certainly have. Some real ding-dongs. But the point is right, that sometimes James Wade just seems to... It's not what he does, it's when he does it.
96.
Yeah, that's very true.
Suljovic has become a bit of a rival in the finishing stakes over the years as well. That's becoming the
41.
highlight of his game.
He does like a big finish, doesn't he?
He usually prefers one that has double 14 on the end of it.
I think we can safely say that's his favourite double.
Yeah, although he did have a brief
99.
falling out with it in the Premier League and started to go to different sections, but here this weekend they have become friends again.
You can't hit everything first time all the while. There has to be dips in the regularity that you're going to hit things. So, you know, it is normal.
Then it might have been wise just to change it up and then kind of gets rid of, if you do have a string of misses in the same segment, you can come back to it fresh later on.
Gets rid of that demon.
Well, no doubt that James Wade will be hoping to get a dart at tops at the end of this combination, which he will. And of course he hits it. The finishing machine is in full swing.
The next meant to throw first. Game on.
Hasn't needed his favourite double 10 as of yet.
Checkouts of 90 and 120 just for starters for
85.
James Wade. A quite similar start to that of MVG. Clinical finishing, but we saw Gerwyn Price come back and threaten to knock out the top seed from the tournament.
100.
Great game, that.
It certainly was. I was enthralled in that one.
$100.
But it had snuck in the left-hand side. We weren't sure.
Could this be a replay from James? Yes, it is.
180.
First two of the match. Something else that James Wade has seemed to have done, especially this year, is found a way to actually up that average. Many used to say that James Wade was the master at winning with a lower average than his opponent, but he's averaging more than a ton, perhaps more frequently than ever.
60.
From what I remember of years gone by, James used to be a very prolific 140 hitter. He seems to have been hitting a few more 180s nowadays. Of course, that in itself is going to up the average as long as he finishes as well as he does.
He's not going to hit the 161, which means Mensah will have 38 now. He's got a choice here of going straight for it, hitting a big 10 for double 14 or a 6 for double 16. Chooses his best friend. And that's why.
I think he had that option in an earlier game, and I think he went for a 6.
Yeah, he did. To our disbelief.
Well, it shocked me. I was looking at a 10 and he hit a 6. And it was smack bang in the middle of the 6, so it doesn't sound like it was an off dart.
It was an off dart, I think, that cost Gerwyn Price. There's a flight off the dart there for Suljovic. James Wade just letting him know, but it was the dart that hit the big 2, wasn't it, when he had 57 left and only gave himself 1 for the match
93.
instead of the 2 that he should have had.
You can't say he would have definitely hit tops if he'd have hit the 17, but 2 at a double is far better than just the 1.
Yeah, and the fact that it's already going through your head that I should have had 2 darts.
Yeah.
140.
Of course, adjusting from the bottom of the board to the top of the board, if you don't hit at first dart, you've got 1 and you've already thrown 1 in that vicinity, so it's easier to adjust.
118.
Suljovic trying to find a way to leave a finish.
Bullseye, he stayed there.
117.
took a risk. It paid off. We'll be using the bullseye here.
26.
Bit of a slack visit from James there. 135. I would imagine that would be bullseye first, which he's found. Leaves 88. 85, I meant.
Yeah, he was trying to leave 28.
Yes.
Yet again, but James Wade can get a dart at the bull. Can he get the dart in the bull?
84.
Well, it's a perfect miss for the machine, but he's relying on Mensah to miss 3.
His finds double 6 with his second dart, and we have an even game again.
Fifth leg is Mensah, so first.
Of course, now Mensah's got the slight out of hand because he's thrown first in the fifth leg. But that doesn't mean a great deal with the regularity. People are broken nowadays.
Yep. Both players winning 2 legs on the spin. James Wade pulling a bit of a face in the background there. Not happy he's let the lead slip. As I mentioned, the winner of this will take on Michael van Gerwen, and then the winner of the following 2 quarter-finals will play each other. Pipe against Cross and Gurney against Peter Wright. Another match that was in the Premier League 10 nights ago in Nottingham. Strange occurrence of all those fixtures being repeated.
And of course, Justin Pipe is the only non-seeded player left. If my memory serves me correctly.
He is, having beaten Darren Webster this afternoon. There were only 4 still in contention in the last 16, and Ross Smith, Dimitri Vandenberg and Christoph Ratajski all departed us. We're 4 legs in, and both players are averaging over a ton, just like MVG and Price did in the previous match.
Pretty much in every game performance now of 100+ average. There has to be, or otherwise you don't get any change after the opponent.
Is he going for this? Well, you've got 50 left, Mensah.
129.
Was that a little trick from Suljovic? Just rubbing it in a little bit there.
There's always the danger when you do that. If you pull the dart slightly and find the 54, you bust. So you're safer going for it, really.
Well, he'll be going for double 16 and looking to completely turn around the destination of this tie. Trailed 2-0 and now leads by 3 legs to 2. And James Wade is looking a little concerned all of a sudden.
39.
I think Mensah seems to have upped the game a little bit in the last 2 or 3 legs.
Certainly the case. Average up to over 105 before this visit.
85.
Hasn't really done that much, Mensah Suljovic, since the Grand Slam where he reached the semi-finals. Has only played in a handful of floor events, but hasn't made it to the quarter-finals in any of them. Did at the Masters, but that's winning 1 match. Of course, James Wade reached a final in Milton Keynes.
100.
Well, we said at the start that it might be a battle of finishing, and Suljovic is winning that battle, but only by 1 double.
Only takes the 1 double.
140.
If it carries on like this, it might be similar to the last match where it takes the one in the last leg.
That's a great shot from James to set up a finish of 170. A little bit of pressure on Mensur now.
It's a finish we haven't seen yet. James Wade has the highest checkout of the tournament of 167. Can he trump himself when he returns?
137. 170.
He's looking at treble 20, which he fails to hit with his first dart, and it's an awkward dart as well.
Yep, that was the problem. It's come off the underside of the barrel and has only managed to muster up 58, so it really is advantage Suljovic now. Should get at least one at the outer ring. But he's got two at double 16.
He went the wrong way.
112.
Yeah, took a wrong turn, Mensur. And now James Wade looking to mop up, as he so often does.
92. Mensur, you require 32.
Well, you better reset the sat-nav.
So Mensur returns, 3 darts in his hand, looking at double 16 to go into a 4-2 lead. Break the machine again. That's 2. He's getting a little bit closer. Finds it with the third. So you can see what it means to Mensur there.
7-leg is Mensur to throw first.
It must be, it's what Suljovic always does. It's the way that he releases his aggression, his emotion, but he kind of walks halfway up the hockey and then decides to come back. And James Wade's having a little bit of a chuckle and letting us know what he thinks of the amount of time he's had to wait to throw his next dart.
Well, it's Mensur's prerogative.
83.
But the machine has rushed up to the hockey and almost whistled one past the ear of Suljovic. And that's the problem, isn't it? If you're slowed down, then you've got to stop yourself from speeding up.
Yes, I mean, James is not a slow player and he's not a quick player. He's a run-of-the-mill speed, but he can soon find himself throwing too quick for his own good.
121.
I have a feeling that one must have slipped.
The arm was raised, ready to throw as Mensur Suljovic was still retrieving his darts, and James Wade might be wise just to take a step back.
Well, Mensur seems to be controlling the game with the scores as well as the speed.
Look at James Wade in the background there. He's trying to sort of push some wind to make Suljovic hurry up. But he'll carry on at his own pace, and James Wade, I feel, is approaching the hockey a little bit too fast for his own good, as you mentioned, Merv.
I think he might be getting annoyed.
100. Mensur require 157.
But as I said earlier, it's Mensur's prerogative to go at more or less what speed he wants to.
Yep, not breaking any rules. And to be honest, not really doing anything out of the ordinary for him.
170.
So James will have known what to expect. But James Wade now has it all to do.
140.
It's a great start from James in this, the 8th leg, with his start. Mensur, I'm sure, will be looking to try and break James here to get the game done and dusted in this leg.
85.
He almost looked like an octopus falling out of a tree when he threw that last dart there. Limbs everywhere.
100.
Superb description, and he'll win a few more squid if he progresses in this tournament.
Oh, very good, very good. That was a shellfish joke.
Stop it now. Well, Suljovic has helped himself to a maximum, and he might well finish a job 6-2 because the machine is malfunctioning. Well, there's words between the players now. It's been boiling over for a while, and Kirk Bevins, the referee, having to get involved here. James Wade not happy with the length of time he's been made to wait by Mensah Suljovic. Suljovic not happy that James Wade has told him that. And all that's really happened there is Wade's been made to wait even longer.
Yes, I mean, James is entitled to feel how he wants, but as I said, Mensah's doing nothing wrong.
99.
Not in my eyes, anyway. He's taken his time between throws, but he's still throwing exactly the same speed as he normally does.
140.
Well, they were.
137.
It's hard to say 140 is careless, but James Wade didn't throw those darts with his usual vigour. Will he get any more?
No, 97. 77.
58, 18 for tops. Just
57.
underneath.
Well, keep an eye on the pair after this match. Suljovic closing in on a 6-2 win. He wants double top. But James Wade clearly not happy at the way this win has been achieved. Double 10 to hoist the machine by his own petard. And Mensah Suljovic does get the win, a 6-2 success, but that doesn't tell the whole story. There is a handshake at the end, but a rather frosty one. The talking may go on after the match. Suljovic having a word there with the referee, Kirk Bevins, as is James Wade. We'll bring you an update on what went on when we return, as Justin Pipes takes on Rob Cross, but it's Suljovic who will face Michael van Gerwen after beating a very unhappy James Wade by 6 legs to 2.
James Wade. Mensah, erstmal herzlichen Glückwunsch zum Einzug ins Halbfinale. Sagen uns, ihr habt gerade eben kurz ein paar Worte gewechselt. Was war los?
Ja, der Kohler ganze Zeit redet mit ihm. Wenn der James Wade beschwert sich wegen irgendwas, er sagt ihm nicht einmal, er muss ihm verwarnen. Das geht nicht so, er darf nicht einmal reden die ganze Zeit. Ist nicht korrekt. Jeder kann spielen, was er tut. Er wollte immer, dass ich